What's going on, you lovely lot? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to this show. We're going to be doing this regularly. We're going to do this as many Tuesdays as we can. I'm going to get these gooners on to talk all things Arsenal. Because you know this is a football channel, but I thought let's dedicate some time to Arsenal because they're in the news a lot at the moment. Seems they're always in the news for the right or wrong reasons. So big up the panel, man. First of all, Gooner Lee, what are you saying, bro?
Listen, man, it took me till today to get over the result on Sunday, but yeah, apart from that, man, life's good, man. Life's good.
Nice one. Prems, what you saying, bro?
All good, bro. Just like Guna said there, man, just it's taken us a few days for it to settle in, and now we're just trying to look forward. But all good. Thank you for having me on the show. Big up Northside, big up Guna Lee. It's going to be a good one, this one. I can sense it already. Big up the chat as well.
Yeah, man, there's loads to talk about. Big up the chat and big up Northside. What are you telling me?
I'm good, man. The only thing good is this. I got browner. You know what I mean? From going holiday, that's the only thing that's good lately. Do you know what I mean? Because that result definitely wasn't good in my opinion. But yeah, man, love for having me on. Big up to Guna Lee, yourself, Premzy, all of you lot, man. And I'm ready for this.
Love, man. Listen, it was a strange weekend, weren't it? Because there was mixed views when going into it. Nobody really understood what this Tottenham side was going to be about. And I spoke to a few people last night. I spoke on Lee Judge's channel. I spoke after the game to a lot of people and on AFTV, etc. And I think most people felt the same. What I get frustrated about, and Gouda Lee, let me come to you first, bro. I get frustrated, Lee, when I see ridiculous mistakes. And the games that we've dropped points in, we've seen ridiculous mistakes from Zinchenko, which has led to a goal against Fulham. We've seen ridiculous mistakes from Jorginho, which has led to a goal against Tottenham now. And when we were conceding these goals and when we have been conceding them, all the fan base tell me is that that's what to expect when you've got a young team. Well, Zinchenko's 26 and Jorginho is 31. So don't tell me that it's a young side that's making these mistakes, because the guys like Saliba and the Sakas and the Erdegaards and the Martinellis aren't the ones making these individual errors that lead to goal. Now, I'm all for mistakes in football. It happens, right? But when I'm seeing experienced heads that could have quite simply kept it easy at 2-1, which the scoreline was in both games, and we're gifting the goals away, that's unacceptable, Lee.
You know what? It's I was on Prem's show yesterday, and you know what? There's a lot, and even yesterday I said a lot about, you know, the game and the mistakes and all these other things, but without kind of going too far forward, there's something more that is like really bugging me, and listen, it might perk up Northside's ears of what I'm saying, but look, you can make mistakes. Things can happen in it. Like things can happen in a game. Like, yeah, you know, life happens in it and mistakes happen. And I know it's annoying because it's continuously happening. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, there's the video going around of a minute and 50 seconds of all the mistakes from last season till now. And, you know, there's the same sort of culprits are, you know, constantly making those mistakes. But the substitution of Jesus and keeping Nketiah on that pitch, to me, isn't spoken enough about, and it's egregious. Like, for me, I feel like that was absolutely disgusting what he did with that substitution. And I love Arteta. I do. I feel like what he says all the time, he comes out and he backs the squad, he backs the team, he makes normally, you know, some good decisions, you know, but I'm losing a little bit of faith in him, only because I don't know how far he can take us forward to win. You know, listen, Dan, we did the bloody preview with George the other day, and you know, he asked us a question: would you rather win ugly and actually get a trophy, or would you rather win, you know, play good football and not win? We all stepped on the side of playing ugly football and winning. Ultimately, I want to win. And I just don't know now, when thinking about it today, I just don't know how far he can actually take us, because he's making silly decisions. He is really making some silly decisions. And that, to me, was bigger than anything else that happened in the game. Because, you know, you can, even if you said, you know what, I want to take off Jesus, but you kept Nketiah on, who had, I believe, I don't know if the stats are correct, 8 touches or 8 passes, one of the two I've seen. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, everybody can see. Stevie Wonder, he can see that Nketiah shouldn't have played those night. Actually, he's not. He played 104 minutes because of all the injury time. 104 with 8 touches. To me, that is shocking management. And he's not going to win if we've got Pep and Klopp that are going to continuously stay here. And if he's making silly decisions. Now, look, again, there's a way to lose a game. There's a way to draw a game. And things happen. You can't blame, the mistakes made by, certain players on the manager because he had to take off Declan Rice. But I'm just now thinking, right, you've given two guys contracts. You don't play them. I don't even think ESR's good. I think he's actually crap. I don't think he's good at all. But you're giving him the number 10. You've also said, I'm going to give you a new contract, bumper contract. You don't play him. Reece Nelson, you've seen him in clutch moments against Nottingham Forest last season. Bournemouth. It's a North London derby. You've seen ESR play in a North London derby, score a goal. I believe 2 goals against them at home. You don't play him. So for me, all the other things, the signings that he's made, all the other things pale into insignificance. All the mistakes, they pale into insignificance because you could have still won that game with the right setup, with the right substitutions in the game. And for me, the worst thing, there's nothing that's good. Dan, we spoke about it before, and we spoke about that run that he went on in December of his first full season, where he lost to Burnley, Wolves, Everton, all at home, and he was breaking all these crazy records. There's nothing that I can say is worse than, for me, taking off Jesus and keeping Nketiah on. That is the worst thing I've ever seen him do. And I was at 100% with him. It's slowly waning because you can't make that kind of mistake when it's so obvious. It's so obvious, and I'm going on a little rant here, but it's so obvious. And it's almost like I compared it earlier on to my mate. You're in a relationship and your girlfriend or your boyfriend's asking you to change. If she's asking you to take her out every single week to the fanciest restaurants, I think that's unfair. But if she's asking you to do simple things like, do you know what? Can you take me out once a week, once a month? Can you just ask me how my day is? Simplistic things, not hard. That's not out of the realms of what a man can do for his partner or woman can do, whatever. It's not hard to do that. But when I compare it back to Arteta, he's not doing. We're not asking him to, play Saka left back and to play top. We're not asking him to do outlandish things. We're asking him to, can you play Partey in his position? Can you play Jesus in his best position? Can you get the best out of the squad that you've been given? So for me, and I'll leave it there for you guys. It really is irking me. And the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, it really does hurt me because, I like the guy. I feel like he's got shit going on for him. I don't know if you can swear on this channel. Apologies if you can't.
No, it's calm.
Going on for him, but he's just. I'm getting. The more people say it, I'm getting this Brendan Rodgers thing from him. I'm getting this, and it's scaring me. It is scaring me a little bit because he's got all the money, he's got all the resources. I don't know how he's spent more money than Wenger in his tenure. Fine, he's got that, but now, can I ask you to coach? Ten Hag, I've been putting all the flack on you. Can I ask you to coach? Can I ask you to not keep making these same mistakes? Can I ask you to learn? We just spoke about all of our ages behind the scenes. Can I ask you, as you get older, more? Can I ask you to develop and not keep making the same mistakes over and over again? Am I allowed to do that? So I'm not Arteta out, but my level of confidence in him as a trusted manager is waning because I want to win. I want to win a league, or I want to win a Champions League. I want to win something, but I don't know if this guy's going to do it.
Listen, there's a lot you've said there that I completely understand, and I think you've made some great points. And I don't know, man. Like, listen, Prems, let's start with when the team news come out, because for me there was a lot of confusion. And Unseated Mars has put in the chat here, if we only have 2 strikers at the club, why was both of them on the pitch starting? And that was the one for me. I think every other position I wasn't shocked by. I knew Raya was going to start. I knew the back line. I knew the midfield. I weren't too sure who was going to play on the left-hand side. I didn't think it would be our centre forward, bro. That's for sure, right? So I thought it would be Nelson, it would be Smith Rowe, or they'll look to do something, even with Havertz playing in the middle and Vieira out wide. The last thing I expected was Eddie Nketiah to be playing alongside Jesus. And then when it come out, I thought, must be Eddie on the left then. Must be Eddie on the left. Surely it won't be our best striker, left wing. Now, when you see stuff like that, Prems, that does make you lose faith a little, doesn't it?
Do you know what? With Arteta, for me, it's hit and miss, isn't it? I think everyone kind of knew where I stood in the first 2 seasons. 2 8th-place finishes, even a 5th-place finish, not good enough. But then last season, you start to kind of really, how should I put it into words? Really start to make me believe that he can actually make us challenge for the league and potentially win the league, because we did have a good season, although it did fall apart towards the back end. And I'm not trying to make any excuses for anyone, but I do honestly believe the loss of William Saliba did have a big impact on the last final games of our season, because you take him out of any team, if he's in there, it's a massive blow. And we already knew how short we were at the back. So he did give us that kind of belief. But with Arteta, my problem with him is he thinks he's too clever for his own good. Like you said, this game here is no surprise to me that we drew this game. I know a lot of Arsenal fans were up for it, and a lot of Arsenal fans really believed that we were going to absolutely batter Tottenham. But you got to be realistic. If you're a football man, you look at what's in front of you, you look at how the teams are playing, and Tottenham, you got to give them credit. Ange's come in, they've brought in good players that are playing as a team, that have gelled, brought in the likes of a Basuma back into the squad. They're on the front foot. They're keeping the ball a lot more than what they have in previous times. I knew that this game was going to be difficult, because from the start of the season, Arteta's been making ridiculous decisions for me. One, Thomas Partey being at right back, didn't work. Havertz, just him signing Havertz was an absolute disaster. People know my thoughts on that. You get me? 65 million pound, 300 bags a week on a Chelsea rejects, bro. You get me? It's not like
to Havertz, man. We'll definitely got to talk. All of us got to have a say on this, man. But go on, Prem.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
go on.
But it's not like that this guy hasn't played in the Premier League before. You get me? And we're buying him from a league, and we give him a season to see how he does and how he fits in. He knows the language. He knows the city. He's been here for 3 years before. It just hasn't worked. I do not understand why he's brought him in to replace a Granit Xhaka. And a Granit Xhaka, most of us are probably happy that he's moved on at this time, because we thought we'll bring in somebody that would be a level above and can step into that Xhaka role and literally give the team a lift. But that hasn't been the situation. We've regressed in that position. We brought Havertz in there. Yeah, Arteta, you could say he's learned from a few mistakes, and he's dropped Havertz out of the starting lineup in a few games, but then he reverts back to him. Just like you said in the starting lineup, Smith Rowe, I would have put him out on the left instead, or a Reece Nelson. We know what Reece Nelson gives us. He does give us a little bit of pace and some direction moving forward, where Jesus, me and Gunnar Lee were speaking about this on Premier League Unpacked, when he's up top for us, that's when we probably tick the best. But losing them legs in Martinelli and losing the trickery of Trossard on the left-hand side, Eddie Nketiah up top was not it for me. You know what I'm saying? So he has made a lot of mistakes. It's just a bit crazy, because I predicted on all my shows on other people's platforms that it's going to be very hard for Arsenal this season. I predicted City to win the league, Liverpool to come second, and Arsenal to come third. And that's not because I don't have belief in my team. I just think having that pressure, having that expectancy on you to go well, knowing Arsenal like I know, it never kind of materializes into anything. So he really does need to book his ideas up, because if he doesn't win anything significant this season, or he doesn't come close, there's going to be a lot of questions asked of him, and people are going to be asking for his head. I know Northside's probably there. He'll definitely be asking for his head. There's a few other, but it's facts, because Gunnar Lee mentioned he spent a lot of money. He spent a lot of money. I understand he's come into an Arsenal team that was riddled with bad players, and you have to build to catch up to the likes of a City and United and whoever it might be. I understand you have to spend that money, but we should be seeing a top tier Arsenal side by now, especially building off what we done last season. We should just be adding the trimmings to it rather than thinking, you know what, this guy's making some silly decisions. That shouldn't be the case. And with the Ramsdale one, my honest opinion, I thought Ramsdale should have started the North London derby. I was saying it prior. And the reason for that, I think he's a big game player. He knows how to get his defenders up for it. He knows how to get the crowd up for it. And I think that's something that we lacked. But you know what? It's just mad. It's no surprise to me what's happening at the moment, Dan. I'll be honest.
Listen, Northside, let me come to you on some of the points Premsy's made, because for me, the reason the weekend summed up Mikel Arteta so far is because of as follows. The faith in Eddie was yet again shown, which failed. The switching of the goalkeepers didn't work, in my opinion, and has caused a lot of confusion as to why this has been happening. The lack of ruthlessness with certain players, yet again, wasn't happening. Bringing on Havertz and potentially falling on that sword. By bringing on the likes of Jorginho, who nobody really wanted, and everybody questioned, and everybody, of course, wanted Caicedo. All of those things have happened under this manager. So you can see why some of the concerns or the doubters in the fan base are pointing towards him going, answer it then, bro. Because all of these things that you've been saying you're going to be doing moving forward, at the moment, particularly in that game, haven't come off. And we've ended up dropping points again. So that's the way I see it, Northside. Talk to me, man.
Just not to repeat what everyone's saying. Let's see what this amazing manager has to say after the game. After the press conference, Arteta said, we lack the quality in the final third with our passing. Okay, cool. You brought on Havertz and Jorginho, two midfielders that you brought in, and you allowed Odegaard to play 90 minutes. That was strolling. He was immense the first half. Second half, strolling. He gets to play 90 minutes. Why is Havertz not unable to unlock defenses? He doesn't score any goals. We've seen him miss the ball early on in the season, and he can't create anything. We created 0 in the second half. That's your signing. Cool. Jorginho was brought in for experience. Experience. This guy's looking worse than Fabi Vieira. Fabi Vieira is actually, I've been cussing Fabi Vieira. I've been saying that Filo da Puta needs to leave. But you know what? I've actually been giving him praise this season. He has to keep it up for 38 games because I'm not going to change my opinion on a player after 2-3 games. Yeah, the season is a lot of games and you need to perform. But at the end of the day, he warranted to stay on that pitch. Yeah? Even when this manager's saying, oh, Declan Rice got injured. Okay, cool. Why did you sign El Neni to a contract extension? Why did you extend his contract? Because I understand he's not the first choice. Well, your first choice in Declan Rice is injured, so you took him off. Partey's injured. So where's El Neni in this? Is it protecting the value? Protecting the value of £10 million player. Protecting the value. Is his value gone up since we re-signed him to a new contract? Reece Nelson's another one he re-signed to a new contract. Why is he not playing? So Eddie Nketiah can play out of position. He can play in the striker role, can drop stinkers. Reece Nelson, I understand he's not first choice either, but Martinelli's injured. Trossard's injured. So he's not our third choice. He's our fourth choice. He's behind Nketiah to start when those two are injured. Why did you re-sign him to a new contract? Clearly, all this gas and all this, oh, I'm so happy re-signed a new contract. I'm so happy El Nene's staying. This manager don't even rate them. He don't even rate them. Yeah? On top of everything, I mean, no one's even mentioned Rob Holt. He's another one. All these players he's re-signing to contracts, these filos da puta that are rubbish, bro. Why are they not playing? I thought the bench was fixed. That's what I heard. This season, the bench is... Oh, the bench is fixed. Let's go through the bench then. Since this bench is so fixed, and nobody can have a brain of their own and just go with whatever PR comes out. Oh, Emil Smith-Rowe still on this bench. Yeah, in North London derby. When's he fit? He ain't been fit since 1886, that filo da puta. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired looking like the white Diaby, bro. I'm sick and tired of it. And when he is fit, he's not playing. He used to play on the wing. Why can't he play as a winger and Jesus through the middle? That's the position we play him at. It's either a number 10 or a winger. He was on the bench. Didn't really help us, did he? But then again, this manager didn't give him enough time. Kai Havertz. Oh, he's very good. Oh, if you can't see what Kai Havertz does, 7 games, 0 assists, 0 goals. That's all right, though. Doesn't matter. Yeah? We've got Kai Havertz on the bench. Tomiyasu. Oh, Tomiyasu is a good player. He can do a job. He was on the bench last season. Did he do a job last season? No. But apparently the bench is fixed. Ramsdale. Yeah? Another one. Not a world-class goalkeeper. And last season was also part of the reason why we capitulated. Not the only reason, but he was part of it. Him alongside Zinchenko. He was on the bench. Cedric, we tried to flog him to Fulham. He was on the bench last season. The bench last season that was deemed, oh, we've got a light squad. All of a sudden, it's fixed. Yeah? All these players were on the bench last season. Oh, Kivior. A Kivior that when we had one of our centre-backs injured, came in, stunk up the place so bad that this manager then put in Rob Holding, that field up that needed to leave this club years ago. Yeah, Rob Holding was playing ahead of him, but Kivio's still on the bench this season. Yeah, but he was here last season. El Nene, that even when all our CDMs are injured, doesn't get a game, but we're protecting his value. Yeah, so we can get top dollar every single penny of that £10 million that we're going to sell him on. Yeah, to a Turkish team. And lastly, Reece Nelson. A Reece Nelson that didn't do anything, that Philadelphia has never done anything for my club, has never performed, never done anything. Get that Viado at my club. But we kept Reece Nelson and Balogun that was actually performing, that actually had teams that were looking at him. Oh, we'll get rid of you. But we'll have Reece Nelson on the bench. Out of that bench, what is different from last season? What's all this? This bench has been fixed. At what point has it been fixed? This game was crying out on the first half when we was on top. The first half, we were crying out for a striker. I've been crying out for Ivan Toney. Everyone telling me it's a 10 out of 10 window. We're fine. We're raring to go. We beat the MLS All-Stars. We've closed the gap on Man City. We won the Community Shield after nobody rates the League One Cup, the Carling Cup, the Carabao Cup. But all of a sudden, winning that shield is the be or end all of a sudden at Arsenal. The be or an end all. Yeah? FA Cups weren't enough to keep Wenger, but for this manager, because everyone wants to twerk for this filo da puta, all of a sudden winning the Community Shield is okay. We got rid of a legend that needed to go, but FA Cups weren't good enough. Community Shield, we've bridged the gap. We've bridged the gap. Yeah? Have we really? But now all of a sudden, I saw certain things on FTV. A fan said, we haven't got the right pieces. So why are you not gassing up this bench? Why are you not gassing up this midfield? Why are you not gassing up this team? Are we surprised that Eddie Nketiah ain't good enough? How many years have we seen this? But no, we have to continue because at Arsenal, as long as just back him because he wears the shirt. Cool. I don't see a lot of people having the same energy when we get rid of Pepe. It's very selective when we have to back certain players here at Arsenal. Because when certain players we don't want, it doesn't matter if he wears the shirt, get rid of him. But when it's one of the boys and he's come through the academy, Eddie Nketiah, we must persist. Balogun was balling out. Have we not learned from Gnabry? If he becomes a baller, we haven't learned from Gnabry because back then we kept Iwobi and got rid of Gnabry. Who was the better player? Who was the one that was actually performing?
Do you know what, though, Northside? The biggest disappointment with the whole Balogun situation is that that's what you go on loan to do. You go on loan to show your worth. But when he came back, we didn't even see him in pre-season. That is what baffled me.
Do you know what, though? Like, just on a personal thing, I heard a few things about him behind the scenes where you wouldn't want him in the squad. Let me just say that you wouldn't want him in the squad. Personally, as a person, he's not. We've tried to get rid of players like him. That's all I can say. And my only other thing I would say as well is there's a as
give us some details,
as a young player, there's a way that you unless you're Mbappe, Vinicius, Saka. There's a way that you come back into a squad and say, look, I want to be a starting player, or I want to be more than a bit part player. But the way he came back before the season had even finished in England, when he was in the French league, he was coming out saying he wants to do this. I want to be the starting guy. I don't know if that was the right way. So, I feel like that really put the cat amongst the pigeons. Now, do I think he's a good player? Yeah, I think he's a good player, but we don't know everything about the guy. I don't know him, so I'm not going to speak on him personally. But from what I heard behind the scenes from someone, I heard that he's a player that we've been trying to get rid of, the likes of Cedric. But I've heard listen, I'll say he's just not a nice person.
Do you not think he's a young lad and it might be down to Arteta to put his arm around his shoulder and rein him in, and as a manager and as a coach, and say to him, look, this isn't what needs to be happening. This isn't the attitude that you need to have when you want to get into this team. Right? Because top managers can do that.
Also, Prems, you talk about that. Okay, he's not right for Arteta. Cool. If Balogun wants to go and he wants to sell him, that's fine. But you've got rid of Balogun, Xhaka and Tini when we need players in those positions. We already needed a striker. We had one. We got rid of him. Everyone's thinking, that's cool. Balogun's gone. Who are we getting in? The answer is nobody. Kieran Tini going out on loan to Sociedad. That's a strange one, but clearly we'll be getting somebody else in. Nah. Granit Xhaka, yeah, fair play to you. I had 7 years of you and I thought for 6 of them you're a bit of a shambles. But for the last one, you really did walk out on a high. But let's go and get 2, not 1. Otherwise, you've got to keep Xhaka and add Rice. Not replace him with Rice, Because what happens when Rice gets injured is there's no box-to-box midfielder. There's nobody that can do the job in that position right now. They're all sit and hold. You've got Jorginho, you've got Partey, you've got Rice now being asked to hold, you've got El Neni, all of those hold. Then you've got, where's our box-to-box? We don't have any because all of them go forward now. Vieira, Havertz, Smith Rowe, Odegaard. What one of those can do the box-to-box job that Rice can do? So now we're a Rice injury away from crisis. We're a Jesus injury away from crisis. We're a Saka injury away, as we've now found out, who's now injured from crisis. And Saliba, because Timber's now out, we're back to what we were last year. Yeah. And we've sold Rob Holding.
Do you know?
We're weaker than what we were last year. Sorry, we were weaker because the Tierney one's a mad thing, bro. Sorry.
No. Sorry, go on. Go on.
Do
you know the scary thing? I was with Turkish on Sunday, and it's just to back up Northside's point. And I don't feel like it's I'm trying to tramp on Arteta. I feel like Sunday showed me a lot. It really did. I took that personal, I really did. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, Turkey said, we're one injury away from a injury crisis. And I didn't realize until I looked at the bench, as Northside said, I genuinely didn't look at it. And I thought to myself, bloody hell, we've got no one on the bench. And then we lost Declan Rice. And I was like, oh my God, that bench is horrible. But my other thing I want to say though is I'm not going to sit here and dump on someone like Jorginho because, listen, he gave us the great moment against Aston Villa last season. And I do think, listen, you can't go off one, you can't do that. But what I am going to say is, I don't think he's been as bad as people are making out to me. The issue is he's a Chelsea reject. But fine, look, he's not the problem. And if we go back to the actual game, because that's what I feel that we should be concentrating on. I think everybody here is annoyed because, well, for me, we can talk about all the other things that happen in the game, but we should have won the game because I still feel we had enough to win the game. Even with Declan Rice out, I still think we should have had enough to win the game. It's the way you set your team up. It's the way you go put your players out there to have a correct way of playing. And for me, I just saw players messing around with each other, kissing and hugging in the game. Jesus and was it Romero talking? I see players messing around, and I'm like,
yeah, fuck all of that.
That was bad, man. That was bad. He was laughing with him at one stage.
I went with the corner in the second, and it was I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, do you know what? Everything that everybody's been saying about them, where I was like, no, we're gonna smoke Spurs. I'm like, no, this team's a joke. They're literally embarrassing. And so that's why I feel like we're going to talk about, we can dissect into, Havertz. We can dissect in all of these things. But ultimately, we should have won the game. We were 1-0 up. We were 2-1 up. And we still didn't win. And in truth, we should have lost. In my opinion, I think we should have lost 3 or 4-2.
Yeah,
I thought we would.
Do you know what, though, Lee? We got no God-given right to win this game, regardless of what. Because when you deep the situation, whole season, we've not been ourselves. We've been poor. You get me?
Agreed.
We against Everton, we were smothering them with the ball and created absolutely nothing. We conceded against Fulham when they had 10 men and drew at the Emirates. Not good enough, bro. This whole season, so far we have not been good enough. We've been a shadow of the beginning of last season. This is why I was not even confident against Spurs.
That's why they
get gassed on the PSV. The PSV result, I saw a lot of people getting gassed. I'm like, we have not shown that level of performance in the Premier League. For me, this manager, I always get asked, what would it take, Northside, for you to get on board with this manager, bro? There's too many things he has not improved. First of all, you have no plan B. This manager has no plan B. He takes on a player, plays him in the same position with the same rules, with the same tactics. It doesn't work. He has no plan B. Second of all, we are still opened up by counter-attacking football. Counter-attacking football will open up the way that we play, and we have nothing to counter-attack that. Yeah, this bench has not been addressed. Rotation for Saka has not been addressed. Better than Jesus getting a lethal goal scorer has not been addressed. Odegaard, we see this time and time again. Either he's good in one game, goes to another game. He's good in one half, goes to another half. He's never good consistently enough, Odegaard. He's not. And we don't have better off the bench for him. Deep line playmaker, we don't really have one, apart from Declan Rice, like has been said. Zinchenko was still part of why we bottled the league. The fan base love to say, we got a light squad. We got a thin squad. Bro, there was starting lineup players that have deficiencies that we needed to get better. Zinchenko, how many times did Tottenham come down that right-hand side and could have scored, bro? The chances that landed to Johnson, that field, that ball, if that was Richarlison or Kane, we lose that game. The amount of chances that Johnson didn't put to bed because he's dead food. Not because we defended well, because he's dead food. Are we surprised? Have we not been saying this since Zinchenko's been here, that he's a liability as a left back? Oh, but he adds extra bodies in the midfield. Yeah, but against a good counter-attacking Tottenham, it's a disgrace. And let me say this. This fan base love to come with the same bukkadi all the time about, oh, phase 3, phase 4. That team is in phase 1. That's in phase 1. We're supposed to be on phase 4. I thought every phase was supposed to improve. We spent more money than Tottenham. We're on a longer phase. Yeah, another excuse that was pinned for this manager. He needs more of his players. He inherited a toxic squad. Well, that Tottenham squad, he's inherited a toxic squad. When he's coming, a lot of the Tottenham man, not all of them, but a lot of them were on the bench under Pochettino. Those are the players that Tottenham got available. Yeah, they got 1 or 2 good players. He hasn't got all of his squad. I remember when I used to cuss Arteta, you can't cuss him until he has his players. How the hell is Ange getting them playing as good football as Arsenal, if not better, in less time? Not even less than half the time this manager's had. That is abysmal, bro. I'm not hearing it. The excuses this manager gets from this fan base, I'm not hearing it. It's unacceptable. Tottenham, I'm sorry, they're on phase 1 and they're matching us like that. And we're at home. I'm not having it. We're supposed to be going for a league title. Most people's prediction at the start of the season, we have to win a major honor. How, like Premsy said, with these performances, how are we going to win a major honor like that? How? When are we going to pick it up? Because last season, we had to be near perfect and we didn't win the league. We've seen a Liverpool side that I thought, when they were chasing down this Man City team, were better than our squad. And they had to be absolutely perfect. Yeah. And even then, they've only won 1 league against Man City. Arsenal fans are delusional, bro. And it's all about...
You know what I will say, though? Do you know what I will say, Nusad? I will say, listen, I think, look, when you look at this, look at the optics, right? I still think we should have won the game. I think the reason why we didn't play as well is, and I think it's a fair point, we didn't have our strongest team out. We were missing quite a few big players in our squad. So I still think we should have won the game, but I feel like it would have been way more convincing if we had Partey, Declan Rice for the whole game, and a Martinelli. So that is my thing. So
Oh, has he gone?
I thought I froze them for a second.
Yeah, so did I. I thought that was me. I thought that was me who froze, man. Let me bring this in because I think this is a really good chat. There's a couple of things I want to bring in while we lose Lee and hopefully bring him back. So SOF says, you guys realize every team is dealing with injuries, right? Even City have a load of injuries, but no one talks about it because they keep winning. No, it ain't the fact that they keep winning. It's the fact that they've actually got a squad that does not get affected when it gets injuries. And this is what I've been saying. When all the fan base were hyping up 9s and 10s and I called it a 6.5, everybody said to me that I was negative and it was out of order because look, we've signed Declan Rice. It's not their fault that Timber got injured. Havertz will come good. All this rubbish that I heard. I was saying this is a few injuries away from crisis yet again. And Cliff, big up, by the way, for the super chat. Cliff has said all the Arteta apologists will blame injuries this year. But this is the same geezer who had Thomas Partey at right back before anyone was injured. It's a piss take. Listen, Prems, I'll come to you. I honestly don't feel like we have improved this season in terms of the personnel. We've definitely not improved on the pitch. I understand that there were injuries, and I know that we'll get better with the injuries come back. My problem is we shouldn't be having to worry about, oh, they're injured. We should have been going into this season knowing, do you know what? If Saka gets a knock, it don't matter because we've got Pedro Neto. If Jesus ain't about, it doesn't matter because Ivan Toney's there. If Declan Rice isn't about, we've got Keffer and Thuram. If we have problems at the back with Timber, we've got Kieran Tierney, we'll keep him. Why are we doing this to ourselves? This has been self-inflicted, in my opinion, bro.
Do you know what? I totally agree with you. I think we definitely look like we've regressed from last season, 100% in performances, even in players that are in the squad. Because if we were dead serious about going into and winning the league and competing in the Champions League this year, Gabriel Jesus, we all know he's got injury problems. We've seen him fall injured last season and missed a few months or whatnot. He had an impact. Eddie Nketiah come in. Yeah, he did okay at times, but it still wasn't good enough. That's where we should have gone out and signed a striker, just in case anything like that did happen. Look, Jesus got injured this season as well. Saka, he looks like he's getting absolutely ran ragged. This guy needs a little rest. I think he just broke the Arsenal
He's
record
gonna
for
get one now,
most
man, because he's
consecutive
injured. So he's
starts.
gonna get a break. He's gonna get a rest now.
But who's going to come in for him? This is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we started off the window good going and signing Declan Rice and Timber, in my opinion. I think they were two good signings. But then we go and absolutely put a gun to our head, yeah, and blast it 6 times, yeah, when we go and sign Havertz for 65 million, when a player like Szoboszlai, who's been linked with Arsenal, could have come in and done a job like that. I've already touched on James Maddison. I would have had him in the squad. These are players that are cheaper than Havertz and also can give you a better impact going forward as well. We brought Granit Xhaka in the 8 role, and he was giving us that kind of progressive play last season. I honestly thought Thomas Partey is going to be our number 6, Declan Rice is going to be our box-to-box player, and Odegaard's going to be our more creating forward as a number 10. Bro, we haven't even seen really, apart from the Charity Shield, we haven't seen Rice, Partey, and Odegaard in midfield. We have not seen it. You get me? Makes no sense to me. That's our best midfield 3. Why have we not seen it? Centre-back positions, we're light as well because Arteta loves to get a player that can play in loads of different positions. Tomiyasu come to us, centre-back, played right-back. Now he's our backup left-back. Kivior, yeah, I'll be honest with you, I've not seen anything great from him to say that he's a top-level centre-back. Rob Holding, he's gone. Who else is there to really fill in? Realistically, we've got Ben White that can play in that position, but we know we can't afford to miss Ben White at right back. You take Ben White away from right back, who's really going to go in there? Thomas Partey, then we lose him from midfield. We definitely need to be strengthening this squad in January. And I think if we were serious about going and winning the league, we would have went and we would have brought in a solid striker, would have brought in another winger. We was linked with DRB that moved over to Villa. We didn't end up getting him. We didn't really go out and get no wingers. Instead, we palmed ourselves off with Havertz. I would have rather kept Granit Xhaka and sold Jorginho, and I was saying that at the end of the season. I think Arteta's he's made a howler. He's made a howler of the season so far, man. And you know what the craziest thing is? Because we're going head to head with one of the best teams in Europe, if not the best team, a well-oiled machine. We know that we can't afford to slip up. Now, any other season, say Pep Guardiola's not in this league, 4 wins and 2 draws, playing the two of the top 6 sides, Goodison away, Crystal Palace away, we'd probably look at that and think, you know what, that's decent. But if we want to achieve the levels of a Man City and win the Premier League and win the Champions League and FA Cups, this isn't good enough. It's just not going to cut it, bro. And I think every Arsenal fan needs to get themselves ready this season to start lowering their expectations a bit because they're going to be a lot of hurt, man, at the end of the season. Best believe.
Thing is, though, Prem, you say that about lowering expectation. I don't think we should, man, because this needs to be the highest standards of if you do not win something this season, Mikel Arteta, there's huge pressure. And for me, if we're starting to lower expectations,
I'm talking about lower the expectation, not we need to win this, in what this team is delivering you. Because from what I've seen this season, bro,
okay, that's
regardless if we think, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, you got to look at facts right in front of you, bro. Tottenham are looking a better team than us right now. Liverpool are looking a better team than us right now. Man City are looking a better team than us right now. Brighton are playing better football than us right about now. That is facts. That is absolute facts.
But this is where I differ from maybe some of you guys. I'm not going to go as crazy as I said. I do think there are, if you add the 3-4 players back into the first team, you do get a better team. But again, where I then agree with you is Arteta still doing the same thing with the tactics, which don't make sense with the Partey thing right back. If you wanted to do that, go and get Caicedo instead of getting Declan Rice, because he can do that. But what you're doing is you're literally forcing something into the squad, into the team that doesn't make sense. I think everyone in here can agree. Even I think Northside will say, you know what? Yes, we bottled the league last season, but Arteta had a good basis to say, do you know what? We've done maybe in Northside's eye, we've got a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 season. We need to add a few more pieces to what we did to progress and maybe hopefully win it and really, really challenge and push. And what he's doing, in my opinion, he's undoing all that good work. He's undoing all that good work that he's done by signing Havertz. Now, listen, Sunday, I'm going to go back to it. There were 4 or 5 things that I'm taking to my grave with this now, and I'm not changing my mind on it. I genuinely have real questions about Arteta. I don't know if he's the Brendan Rodgers for us now. Jesus alone is not enough to win us a title. He's not. He's a great striker, but he's not enough to win us a title. He's just not clinical enough. And I use the example of Harry Kane. He missed a penalty in the World Cup. I can't sit here and say that he's not a winner. He's not one to take you over the top because he missed the target for that penalty, and then not talk about Jesus in the same respect. And Nketiah, he's not good enough at all. He's not Arsenal quality. It's that simple. And the most important one, Havertz is a bust. I've tried. Havertz is a bust. He's finished. And people are going to say, oh, he didn't start. It's not his fault. You're right. But when he came on that pitch, he got bashed off the ball. He got moved to. No drive, no get up and go with him. That shot that he had from the edge of the box, you're meant to be you're meant to be a striker, or you're meant to be someone who can do these things. I don't understand what this guy Arteta has really dropped the ball, dropped an egg with that. And for me, I don't understand how we get anywhere this season with him in the team. I don't know how Arsenal progress with him in the team. I don't know how we go to the levels that we should be. If we had Szoboszlai instead of him, I'm happy. So, yeah, you guys are thinking you're going to say, oh, we're not playing well. I don't necessarily agree with that per se. And I said, I feel like there are reasons maybe why.
So you think this season we've been playing well, Lee?
No.
Because if that's what you're saying, you can't agree with, bro. I don't know what's going on.
What I will say is, I don't think it's a thing that we haven't played well. I think that and I looked a lot into it. I looked a lot into the stats. I think that we're just playing very differently. I think that what we're trying to do is we're trying to control games. If you look at the season that Liverpool won the league and the season before that, they were having 3-2s, 5-4s, 4-4s. They were having so many of those games, and it wasn't just not physically, but the emotional aspect of it. It was draining because we shouldn't be going life and death where we're struggling against Fulham at home. It should be 2-0. Take off your best players at the end of the game, or like the 70th minute. And that's what Liverpool did in the season they won. I don't know if you guys remember, they would blitz teams in the first half, and then they would just control and see games out in the second half. It was, and everybody everybody called them boring. So I think what Arsenal are trying to, or Arteta's trying to force this team to say, do you know what? We're going to be boring, because everybody's saying we're boring now. We're having the possession. We're just not getting the chances to score the way that we were last season. But I think that one or two things are going to give. The defense looks better. It was meant to look better, but we don't score enough. And that's the problem. But I'm saying is
because we're conceding at home every single game, bro. That's a mad thing. Defense is not doing. My point is that
what I'm saying to you is, when you look at if you take into context every single game, if you look at every single game, the Fulham game, I'll give it to you. We weren't good. Crystal Palace, we went down to 10 men. We weren't going to concede because Crystal Palace did not have one chance. The Nottingham Forest game, we should have been 4 goals ahead, really and truly.
But when they scored, we looked shaky, bro. I was thinking, am I watching it Arsenal evolve?
No, this is my point. You're missing my point. You keep mentioning, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying to you, what Arsenal are trying to do, they're trying to really control games. And I feel like if you look at each game, other than the game I've given you, which is the Fulham game, which I think we were just poor, I don't think that we've been as bad as people are making out to me. I feel like we're trying to do something different. It's just not working the way that you want it to, because you want the swashbuckling 4-0s. But Arsenal aren't going to try and do that this season.
Lee? I feel like you're right. I do want that. To tell you why I want that, because that's the definition of killing motherfuckers off, bro. That's the definition of finishing the games early, and that's exactly what I want.
There's different ways to skin a cat, and as I said, I just look at Arsenal and I feel like we're trying to control games where we don't have to go emotionally and physically. We don't have to be drawn out because we've got a long season. But I'm not disagreeing with you that we haven't.
You know what, though, bro?
It's just a different style. No. Listen,
I hear what you're saying, but listen. What you're saying, yeah.
Wait, hold on.
I understand what you're saying, yeah. But if you score 3 goals in the first half, bro, you can use your squad and rotate, and that way you're not going to get burnt out in it.
All I'm saying to you is, when you look at just go and look at the game, and go and look at the stats, and go and look at the Liverpool season when they won it, and the season before that, they did exactly the same thing. Man City did that before, where look at why everybody says Man City, they're so boring. Why? Because they just pass teams to death, keep the ball, control the games, and then they might score 3 or 4 goals. Yes, they will. But what I'm saying to you is that they're quite boring because they just kill games off in a different way. And what I think we need to get our heads around is I think what Arteta is trying to do is trying to kill games off in a different way.
And
Do I agree? Do I agree with it?
Ain't been a team that's been able to
again,
play and control games and win against this team.
You guys,
I'm sorry, it ain't working, bro. It ain't
but I'm
working.
not
At the end of
but
the day, yeah.
you guys think I'm saying that
I'm sorry, Lee. No,
wait,
I'm
no
sorry,
side, no, hold on, just 1 second,
Come on, bro.
1 second.
You can't give an
You
example
wait,
of that.
no side. Wait, hold on. There's 2 parts to it. You guys think that I'm agreeing with what he's doing. I don't. But what I'm saying to you is we have to open our minds to say he's trying something different. And the perfect result, the perfect performance was the PSV game because we battered them. We took our best goal. We took our best players off for the next game. That is what I think he's trying to do. The Everton game was another perfect example. We controlled the game throughout and we scored 1 goal, yes. But what I'm trying to say is the actual emphasis on what he's trying to do is trying to control the game as much as possible, score a few goals.
Yeah, but you gave Liverpool as an example. Liverpool would kill you off and then control the game.
Yes, but I'm agreeing with you. We haven't scored enough goals.
Just like against Tottenham, we scored 1 goal and then we start relaxing. That second half, we could have scored at least 3 or 4 goals. We didn't.
What I'm trying to say to you,
the gas and we allowed them to come back into the game. The same way we did against Nottingham Forest, the same way we did against other teams, Fulham, etc. We are not killing or blitzing anybody. Yeah, we got all this possession, but like I said, yeah, possession doesn't win you games. I remember last season when we lost to Man United, the first game that we played Man United, and Arsenal fans said, "Oh, we should have won the game. We had more possession." No, goals win you games, not possession.
No,
so you can create.
You guys think that
you can slow down the game as much as you want. This is the Premier League. We already know that 1-0 is a very tender. It's a very tender lead. Yeah, most teams ain't gonna win the game 1-0 in the Premier League. Yeah, the opposition are gonna react, bro. So. You can explain it all you want, bro. People try to explain to me what Havertz does. Does it work? No, it don't. My cousin tried to tell me, oh, Havertz, he's a techie baller. I said, okay, cool. How many footballing freestylers become professional footballers? They can't do it, can they? Because there's one thing doing chicks and flicks and all that, and there's another thing actually performing in an 11-man squad out there on the pitch. Yeah, he doesn't rate Odegaard. I said, look, Odegaard may not be as pretty as you like, but Odegaard has put figures and stats that are higher than someone like Kai Havertz. So you can over-explain to me what this guy's doing. Ultimately, it ain't winning me games. Ultimately, it's allowing teams to come on top. Last season, we would have blitzed Tottenham. Yeah, they wouldn't have even had a chance. What we did was score the goal, relax, second half, allow them to come on to us. We didn't even hold our lead till half-time. We didn't even hold it till half-time, bro. So as much as you can over-explain, bro, we don't even have Ben White overlapping anymore. We don't have Ben White overlapping anymore. Odegaard, the majority of our midfield so far this season is not getting enough chances. Last season, Odegaard was scored. We've even had periods so far in the season, yeah, when we were relying on Martinelli and Saka to be our main creators. Last season, we had Odegaard creating, Xhaka creating, Partey at times creating, Zinchenko creating, Ben White creating. Even in the creativity aspect, we have not been as fluid as we was last season.
And goals were coming from everywhere around the pitch last season. Goals are not coming from everywhere around the pitch this season either. We don't score by set pieces anymore. We brought in a new set piece coach. We don't score by set pieces. I think it's less time we score by set piece, bro.
The thing is, right, I think we all agree. Arteta is overthinking this big time.
Yeah, 100%.
Big time. And I understand what Lee's saying. I don't think Lee was for what he's doing. He's trying to explain what he's doing. I think Lee agrees it's not sustainable. It isn't going to win us anything playing like that, right? But for me, when these players come back, I don't want to be seeing no Thomas Partey on the right. I don't want to be seeing Havertz in that team. I don't want to be seeing Eddie Nketiah on that pitch. I want to be seeing our best 11. Because let me ask you boys this. Last season, when we were playing 4-3-3, and we had, if we would have had David Raya, Timber, and Declan Rice last season, we probably would have won the league. That's real talk. We probably would have won the league, right? Now that we've got all this, he's overthinking it. I don't want to start like that because we went too full on and we weren't able to compete. We weren't able to continue it. Let's change things up. I want to start doing this possession-based football where we win games 1-0, 2-1. The thing is, it's okay being a Diego Simeone and playing unattractive football and winning because that's what he does. The last bit, winning. He wins. We haven't even got the plan A bit right yet. And now we're trying to switch to a plan B. Let's try and actually complete something first before we start ripping it up and starting again. So for me, when these players do come back, I want to be seeing Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Erdegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. That's what I would be seeing as the 11.
Dan,
I don't want any of this stuff coming in. Go on,
We
man.
don't have the
Dan,
killers
yeah.
to
The
play that
most-
football. We don't
the
have
most
the players, bro. Mourinho had a killer up front. Yeah. Atleti, they've always had killers. They had Griezmann. Yeah. They had Diego. They had Diego Costa. Even Mourinho at Chelsea had Diego Costa. When you're playing at the level of football, yeah, the one thing I will say, you need a killer up front because you're not creating enough chances to win the game. So with the small chances that you're getting and you are creating, you need to put teams to bed. What teams are we putting to bed with Jesus and Nketiah as our striking duo?
Do you know what though? Let me touch on something because I think the most vital part of a team is the midfield, bro. And I think that's where games are won, in the middle of the park. Stopping transitions, creating the middle of the park for me is the most important. And by him bringing Havertz in has kind of destroyed what we do in the middle of the park because he's on 300 bags a week, because nobody wanted to sign him and it's his man and he's paid £65 million for him. He's going to end up dying on his sword. You get me? Let's call it as it is. Fabio Vieira ain't good enough in midfield, in my opinion. Havertz ain't good enough in midfield, in my opinion. We haven't even seen a Partey and Rice midfield yet. And can you see him really wanting to go with that? Does he think that's too defensive? That's how I see it. I don't think he is going to be going with that. And I think this is where we're fucking up the most, because regardless if you hate Xhaka or love Xhaka, the one thing about Granit Xhaka, he was a sturdy midfielder. He'll do all the basics right. Yeah, he might end up getting a red card here or there. But last season, he nullified that out of his game. But he was creating and defending. Havertz, yeah, he might be able to win a header. He's not really great at creating and he's not really good at defending. Fabio Vieira, too weak, not great at defending. He'll create the odd chance here or there, not enough goals from midfield. If we take them two out of that position, I would probably say if a Partey's not available, put Smith Rowe in there. But if we don't have them, that's where our weakest point is. Declan Rice, he can't just get ran ragged on his own in the number 6 position. And this year, we've been cut open through midfield so easily. It's unreal, bro. Easy.
Facts, absolute facts. Listen, let's move on for a couple of things. We've got a couple of super chats here. Warren Grant says, "I've got to call a spade a spade. We aren't winning trophies under this manager. I'm here to be proved wrong, but I can't see it. Seen enough. Hope Arteta walks." And this one comes in from Chaitanya, leading on to tomorrow evening's game. Would you start Jesus versus Brentford? It's crucial we manage the minutes. Saka and Erdegaard must not start. Let's move on to this tomorrow because there's a couple of players I wanted to mention. Havertz was one of them. I think we all agree it's been a poor signing. None of us wanted him, and I think so far it's been poor. I expect him to start tomorrow, and I expect him to do something because when you're in a Carabao Cup game and you can't score, that's something that at least Eddie Nketiah has done over the last few seasons. And if you can't even do that, I'm sorry, my guy. You need to hold your head in shame. But there's a couple of decisions for Arteta to make. Now, let's start with you, Lee. Let me just ask the three of you, man. I hope you give me the right answer to this because I've been actually having Arsenal fans telling me differently, and I do not get this. We all want to win this competition, right? The League Cup. Nobody wants to chuck this out the window and say, no, thank you. I'd rather try and get to a quarterfinal of a Champions League. This actually finishes in February. Mate. This competition finishes in February, March, which means that the Champions League will be past the group stages and won't start again until that time that it's finished. So surely we want to go to the whole way in this competition, not just chuck it out the window. I understand it's not a prestigious one. It's not, wow, we've won the Carabao Cup. But we ain't won it since 1993. Yeah, we can't banter Spurs for not winning trophies and then go, we'll just chuck them away as well. Lee, talk to me, man.
I mean, look, if I had a little genie ball and I could see that we was going to win something else, I really wouldn't care. But I can't trust that Arteta is going to lead us to win a trophy. So unfortunately, we have to try and win it because ultimately he's spent money. He's spent money. He's not only spent money, as we've all said, he's re-given contracts out to players. Even this morning, it only dawned on me that he gave Aubameyang a new contract. It only this morning dawned on me that he gave Aubameyang a new contract. Now, look, Aubameyang did what he did, but I just couldn't believe that he gave him a new contract and then he got rid of him. And it was the whole thing with Willian that he brought in and said was going to win a Champions League in 3 years. It was only this morning that these things came to my mind. I couldn't believe what he was saying. So ultimately, he has to try and go out and win it. He can't drop out of the competition. But if you're asking me, I would rotate every single player. I would rotate every single player. And actually, no, I wouldn't. I would rotate every single player other than Raya. And then I would bloody put Ramsdale back in goal because Raya, I don't think he's good enough. I really don't. So other than that, I would keep everybody else.
Interesting, man. Northside, let me come to you because for me, I don't think he's got much of a choice about rotating. This side has been depleted already in 6 games. The team, for me, has to be making decisions of the following. Ramsdale will play, I believe. He's going to have to make a decision as to whether he wants to play Tomiyasu, Ben White, or Cedric at right back. He's got left back options of Kivior, Zinchenko, and Tomiyasu. And at centre back, he's got Kivior there, potentially with one of Gabriel and Saliba. If not, then he'll have to play one of the other guys, the fullbacks at centre half. In midfield, he's really only got Jorginho or El Neni to play with Vieira and Smith Rowe. And then Nelson, Nketiah, and Havertz as a front three. I don't see what else he's going to do because the other players are injured, bro. Unless he plays the Salibas and Gabriel Jesus's, I don't know what he can do, man. So this could be, we want to win it, but are we good enough at the moment with this squad to actually go and beat Brentford comfortably tomorrow night?
Listen, Brentford without Ivan Toney, they're toothless. Slapped up by Everton 3-1. Everton are finished. Yeah, and they got slapped up by them. Newcastle, you can allow them. Newcastle are a good team. Drawing to Bournemouth, nah, I'm not really convinced by Brentford. Outside of Ivan Toney, they play nice football. There's no one really that I'm that concerned about. And they're definitely going to open up and try to come at us. And that is when the football that we play looks the best. For me, play your strongest team. I think, how far have we fallen with this manager? I remember with Arsene Wenger, we used to play the kids. Round 1, round 2, of all these cups, round 2, and we'd easily get to quarterfinals, semi-finals, just playing the kids. We wouldn't even touch our main team. Nowadays, this manager spent £700 million. I think he's made 21 or 22 signings, including re-signing certain players to new contracts. That's two teams there. You know what I mean? That's 2 teams worth of players that you've re-signed or you've brought into the club. And what? He hasn't got enough. Even if he rotates, he hasn't got enough to beat Brentford. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. For me, it's unacceptable because Arsene Wenger used to do it when we had no money because, remember, was paying off the stadium. We'd get all these little, signings and stuff like that, little, players that are unheard of. And we were able to get to the Carabao Cup quarterfinal just using kids, FA Cup quarterfinal, semi-finals just using kids, and then use our starting lineup team. So for me, bro, it doesn't really matter what lineup he puts out. I would like to see, he's got to start utilizing certain players that he's given new contracts. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense unless he's going to try and re-sign them for the most amount of money he can get. But how many years has Arteta thrown us out of Carabao Cup? How many years has Arteta thrown us out of FA Cup? How many years has Arteta had to throw us out of all these cups to concentrate in the Premier League and ultimately fail at that? Drop out of all the cups to concentrate getting top 4. Tottenham beat us to that 2 years ago. So there's no more excuses. Just like you guys are saying, bro, like you spent the money. We used to get onto these owners. These owners have backed this manager, even in the signing none of us wanted in Havertz. They've backed him, bro. You've made your decisions. I don't care what team goes out. I expect to win. I don't care if Reece Nelson starts. I don't care if El Nene starts. I don't care if Fabi Vieira starts. I don't care. I do think we need to rotate, just like when you guys said, Saka playing, I think, 87th appearance, 88th appearance. Bro, he's going to get an injury. He's going to get, and it looks like he already has an injury. You know what I mean? And bro, it's just not good enough, bro. He's going to have to play Tomiyasu. He's going to have to play these players. Kivio, you brought them in. You're going to have to play them. Cedric, you're going to have to play them. Otherwise, why didn't we flog Cedric to Fulham? For me, this Brentford team is here for the taking. I fear them when they got Ivan Toney ready to play for them. I'm sorry, you've got to perform now. There's no more throwing things away anymore. And for me, even if this manager wins the Carabao Cup even if he wins Carabao Cup and FA Cup, I want this filled up with the sacked. Because I don't move the goalpost. I was fed up of just winning the FA Cup under Wenger. That doesn't change. The standard has been set since I started supporting this club. Just winning a cup isn't enough to keep you in a job, especially when you're going on phase 5, youth project, £700 million spent. I'm sorry, I'm not justifying that. That ain't good enough. I'm now expecting you to go on to win major honours. You've been backed with the money. You've been backed on your decisions. He was backed on his decision with Ozil. He was backed on his decision with Aubameyang. He was backed in all his signings, re-signings. What else do we need from him? What else does he need? You know, and at the end of the day, if you can't do it, well, Jurgen Klopp did it, and they don't have oil-rich owners. So if you can't do it, then it's time to go. Let's get somebody in that can do it. I always say Simeone. I always get cussed for saying Simeone. I'll tell you what, he can win with Atleti. They piped Real Madrid, I think it was yesterday, 3-1. He hasn't got the budget of Real Madrid or Barcelona, but he's able to win major honours. So go get me a manager that knows how to deal with the circumstance we have here at Arsenal. You don't have the biggest budget, you don't have the lowest budget. But the expectation is to win major honours. If this manager can't do it, then get rid. Simple as that. Because Ten Hag in his first year, even though I don't rate him, in his first year he won a cup and got into the top four. Now, got into the top six. This guy, how many years has this taken? Since he's revamped this whole squad, what have we won? What have we won since he's revamped this whole squad? Nothing to show. Since that FA Cup, that was a toxic squad. Ange's coming in, he's got Ange Ball. They're kicking off with Ange Ball. He ain't even got all his players. There's no excuse for this manager. I'm sorry. We clowned Lampard when he didn't get over the line and he was backed. Yeah, we all clowned him when he got fired. We clowned Ole when he got given money and there's an expectation. Yeah. If this fan base likes nearly men, I don't hear any Arsenal fans saying I want Brendan Rodgers, I want Ole, I want Lampard. I don't hear that. I want Redknapp. All these managers that have been nearly men, I've never heard Arsenal fans say they want him. Why is it different with this manager? I don't get it, bro. Sack him, bro. I'm done with him.
Listen, and you know, Northside, you've been like that for a while. At least you've been consistent with your opinions, bro, and you don't flip flop. You've always said that if he doesn't win something big, not a Carabao Cup, then you want somebody else in who can do it for us. Fair play to you, man, and I respect your opinion. I think with me, there's context as to how we finish the season. I'm giving Arteta to the end of this season to tell me what he is about because he's got everything now. There ain't no more excuses, right? There ain't no more excuses. And, you know, before I've said, you know, okay, he wants another window, does he? You know, and I went viral for saying he needs more windows than Microsoft. But I stand by it. This guy's had an unbelievable amount of windows. I don't know any other manager that's had this many windows. So I'm not buying he needs another transfer window. He needs to win something for me, because that is the only thing that will save him if we aren't to go in for a title. If we're to miss out to Man City, I think a lot of people can hold that. They're all unbelievably good side. If we miss out by 25 points, I'm not going to hold that. But I will if we miss out to them on the last couple of games of the season like we did before, right? If we take them to a title race, I think fair play, they're a great side. But if we go out of these FA Cups and Carabao Cups to teams without no disrespect to Swansea or Leicester City, I'm going to have him for it. If
Dan,
we go down into the Europa
Dan,
League,
what about if we played Man City in all 4 competitions in the final and lost all of them?
There's context then, Lee, because Manchester City are an unbelievably good side, but we haven't done that in the last few, have we? We've lost to Sporting Lisbon, Olympiacos, Villarreal in the Europa Leagues. We've lost to Southampton and Forest in the FA Cups. In the League Cups last year, I don't even know who we lost to because it was so abysmal. Was it Brighton that they played their B side as well at the Emirates and beat us?
Yeah.
This was embarrassing, man. This is getting embarrassing. So when people say to me, bigger fish to fry, don't matter. That's fine if you go and you go and fry that fish. Yeah. When you don't fry the fish, you look like an absolute buffoon. And that's what we did. Yeah. Because when people say to me, it's fine going out of competitions, I'm sorry, man. I grew up on winning. And if you want to call me a spoilt brat, then you can, man. But I was born in 87, and between the late 80s and the 90s, we were winning things, and they were major honours. It weren't just scraping League Cups. When the first year I remember was 93. We did a cup double against Sheffield Wednesday. 94, we beat Parma. 96, Wenger come in, and we started to go and win titles and doubles. Then we went unbeaten. Then we got to the Champions League final, moved to the stadium, and then it went downhill. But you know what we did? We still won 4 FA Cups. Now, if this manager's got anything about him, he'll start to look at our history and think, it's getting a bit long now, isn't it, without us winning something, even if it is just an FA Cup. This season, we have to be doing that at the end of the season if it's a success. None of this we come second malarkey, and the only reason we went out to Leicester and to Club Brugge in the Champions League was because we were trying to fight City. I ain't having that crap, man. I ain't having that no more. No more. £750 million spent at this club now. Go and win something, please. That's all I ask. Just go and win something. So that's the way I see it, man. And, you know, people will come on here and go, look at these lot losing their heads. The reason is we can see with our own eyes that we ain't ready to go and compete with Man City right now. Now, we need a miracle in the next few games for these players to come back and then boom, wow, this is like the Arsenal of old from last year. That could happen. We don't know yet. But for me, we're already 4 points behind them. Lose to City at the Emirates. I don't know one City fan that's going into that game thinking we ain't beating Arsenal without Rodri and KDB. They're all going, bring it on, man. Pep will get it right. We'll beat them. We already know we can dick them. So, LB was on the channel here last night. He said, I think we're going to beat you, man. And I think you'll be 7 points behind us and it'll be title done. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Prems, let me come to you on the last point, man, before we close. The Raya and Ramsdale thing is getting a hell of a lot of debate, man, and a hell of a lot of heat. I personally feel like Ramsdale has been treated harshly by the manager, but also I feel like now he's getting treated harshly by some of the fan base, by some of the neutral fans, by some of the pundits. The guy sits there like this at Everton, and everyone said, look at him, he looks paid off. He's going to get a move to Chelsea or Man United. He don't look right. The guy the following week, what does he do? Oh, well done, Raya. Great save. Look at that, man. What a disgrace. Whoa, what do you want him to do then? Just get up and walk out? Or say to Arteta, don't bother. Everyone's giving it to me. I'll just stay on the bus. Like, come on, man. Like, for me, I think it's a real frustrating thing. And I don't know that it was needed, Premsy. But at the same time, I'm not totally against it because I want the best players at Arsenal. And I do believe that David Raya is a good goalkeeper, man. So where do you stand with this one, bruv?
It's one of them. I think Ramsdale has got mistakes in him. I think he is a good goalkeeper. He got into the team of the year last season. And obviously, I'm a match-going fan as well. So I like it when a player can connect to the fans. And that's something that he's walked into this team and he's done pretty much right from the get-go. I think if you're talking about the Jamie Carragher thing and stuff like that, this is what social media is about now. People say a lot of things for clicks and likes. And that's just become the nature of our life right about now, to be fair. So I think with Ramsdale, I think he's just got to keep his head and not really listen to all the news. I think Raya is better with his feet than what Ramsdale is. He is a good goalkeeper. I think this is modern day football. I actually agree with Arteta to an extent of you can actually rotate goalkeepers. I don't know about subbing him mid-game, but I do agree that you can rotate goalkeepers. And when Raya did come into the club, I was actually saying this on a lot of platforms, that I have a feeling that Ramsdale might start a few games, Raya might start a few games, and people were calling me mad. But it looks like that's what's going to be happening here. And we're in 4 competitions. Last season at Brighton, I was at the game. We got knocked out, and I was absolutely livid. In my honest opinion, we need to go with our strongest team, strongest lineup, and then we've got 5 substitutions. Win the game, put it in the bag, start making your substitutions, give people a rest. We can't be going out of any competition early because we've seen what happened. We went for the title, didn't work out, and we end up walking away with our balls in our hands in it. So that's how it literally happened. But with the Ramsdale one, he's got to come back in now. It's healthy competition. 2 decent goalkeepers, in my opinion, gives us healthy competition. Obviously, Arteta's the manager. He's got to pick which one's the right one for to start in which game.
Fair play, man. Lee, let's come to you on it because you weren't too happy with David Raya. You didn't think he was playing that well, and you haven't been that impressed, man. I know you like Ramsdale. So what's your thoughts on this one? Is this a bad move from Mikel?
Listen, it's not. I don't even feel like it's about me liking Ramsdale. I always said the keepers were 50-50. I didn't know much about Raya, but what I did see from him, I just thought that, there was bits and bobs that each one were better than. Last season, Raya came out considerably better with stats. But listen, mate, as I said, I go to the games, man. I see what he looks like, what he does. I've seen how good he is. I've also seen him make some mistakes. But that performance against Liverpool last season, I mean, bloody hell, like if you're telling me that this guy can't help you win a league, I don't know. I also can see that he's made some stupid mistakes like Southampton. But shit happens. Like he's 24, 25. Raya, he was at 100% at fault for that first goal because he could have caught the ball or he could have just tipped it over the bar. But he tipped it backwards. And then, yes, from there, things happened, which let the goal in. But for me, like, I'm not that impressed. Every time he bloody kicked the ball, we went out on Sunday. So I'm not that fast. I feel like, again, Arteta's made a rub for his back now because if he makes mistakes, it's almost like, okay, now I'll call back to you with my toes between my leg. That doesn't. I just feel like you're creating more issues than if it was a clear. I'll play you I'll specifically play you for certain games. I would understand, but it looks like he's just made him his number 1 keeper. All of a sudden, after not doing anything wrong, you bring him in and say, "Do you know what? All right, let me see how you react in training. Let me see that you make a mistake. Let me see something." But he played all right, and he still gets subbed off. And then he gets taken off, and he's not coming back into the team. So for me, look, I just think like there's the clear favourites, but I don't need favourites. Listen, my namesake, Lee Judges. The manager's got favourites in this squad, and it's absolutely stupid. You've got Nketiah playing a fucking 104 minutes. But what about when Saka's dropping a disaster class? Why can't he come off? Oh, because as Northside so correctly said, because you didn't buy anybody. What about when not Declan Rice, when Odegaard makes a mistake or when he's not playing well, you sub him off? But what about Nketiah? Why is it that Ben White is almost like treated as your side piece when he's one of the best right backs in the league? Why is it that Zinchenko? Why is it that all of these players that you make your favorites, you can't do that? You can't do that. It is just nonsensical. Yeah, I don't know.
Don't really. We'll be having Win playing up front soon.
Bro, I'm telling you, you know what? And you know the joke of it, right? I'm gonna be real. I don't understand why I don't want Kroenke to give him another penny. You spent enough. You don't need any more money. You don't need to be spending any more money. You don't. I'm sorry, but you getting this guy, Tony, who again, I'm not even that convinced that he takes you over the top. I think he's good, but I'm not sure he's that guy. It's not clear like an Osimhen. So you're going to spend 60, 70 million pounds on him for a manager who I'm not sure right now is a person to take you forward.
Do you know what, though, Lee? I think it's clearer than Osimhen, in my opinion, because Osimhen's not proven in this league. Ivan Toney is.
Okay, fine. You're right. But what I was trying to say is, like, I don't see Tony as that, like, elite. Like, he's guaranteed goals.
See, we had this last night, man. I had this with Tom and I had it with Harry today about
He'll get you over 20 goals, man. He'll get you over 20 goals. That's all we need.
But I'm with Prems and I'm with Northside here. I'll tell you why, Lee, right? So I had this debate quickly with Tom last night, and he said, I'm going to say something really unpopular. I don't want Ivan Toney. I want the elite striker in the summer. Now, that's fine. If you said to me, I know you want Tony, Dan, but just calm. It ain't going to happen because wait till what happens in the summer and Mbappe's on his way or something like that. I'd say, cool, no problem, right? But how can people guarantee me Mbappe? How can they? Because the reason we're going to have to get Mbappe in the summer is because if we win the Champions League and the Premier League, that's the only reason he's coming. If we get top four and finish trophyless, he is not coming to Arsenal, right? So for me, it's about let's see where we're at now and who we can maximize in this current window, in this current situation. Because we've been looking at what happens in the future for far too long now, Lee. 15 years, another 5 years. Look how good we'll be in 5 years. Look how good we'll be when Cesc Fabregas turns 28. Oh, he's playing at Barcelona. Look how good we'll be when Ramsey and Wilshere turn 28. One of them is retired and the other one's now playing for God knows who is he going back to Cardiff? Yeah. And now we're looking at it again. Project Youth 3.0. How good will Saliba be at 27? Will he be at Arsenal? Will he be at Real Madrid? I need to win now, bro. I can't win in 5 years.
Right. But all I'm just to go back to, and again, I just don't know if he takes you over the top to win. I don't know.
Fine. That's fine to have that opinion.
That's all it is. It's not necessarily a dig at him because I think he's good, but I've not seen enough. I've seen one good season where he scored 20 goals and 6 of them were penalties. So if we take those away, that's 14 goals. Jesus got 11 and he missed 4 months of the season. So it's give and take. And again, look, he's at Brentford. So I understand. Like, I'm not gonna, defend Jesus because I said, I don't need no one to come at me because I've said I know he's not good enough now. So I just don't know if Tony's that guy. So I'm like, I don't want the board to be giving him more money because he's the same guy that fucking bought Havertz. So why are we giving him more money? How can how can any one of you three trust him when he bought Havertz and he bought Fabio Vieira? Sorry, Northside, I know he's your countryman, but yeah, I just think he's shit. Like Cedric, bro, like how can you tell me then? How can I back this guy when he's bought Havertz?
Do you know what, though, Lee? I think obviously
him more than any of you lot.
This is what I'm saying, bro. This is why what you just said there is mad because we actually haven't really been supporting him since he's come in. It's only last season where he's kind of won us over a little bit. But prior to that, I don't think me, Dan, or Northside were actually going with his with what he was doing at the club. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's only last season. But other than that,
season in the 5,
we were very different to you.
One season in the 5 that he's had, man.
So welcome to the club, fam.
Do you know what, right? To close on it, right? I want to say this because this season, he's going to stay till the end of the season, in my opinion, unless we're coming like 12th, 13th at some stage of the season, right? For me, he's going to be there to the end because Kroenke's backed his project and backed him. But we're going to find out. Someone mentioned it earlier. It might have been yourself, Lee. We're going to find out if he's a Brendan Rodgers or a Klopp. That's what we're going to do this season. We're going to find out if this guy's the Neely man or if he's the guy that can get us across the line. Because in the last few seasons, he's bottled everything. He's bottled top 4. He's bottled Europa Leagues. He's bottled the title now. And this season, we cannot put ourselves in a position where he can't be that guy who just is nearly there. because then we're going to have to make that decision. And that comes to another debate, which I'm not going to get into, the Cronkies. Are they going to do that? Are the Cronkies going to get rid of a Mikel Arteta and go, right, we now need a Simeone? Because they've never done that before in any of their American sports. It's always been young coach, stick with him, give him time, give him processes, give him phases, give him structure, give him projects, all this stuff. I don't see it, man. So I think this guy's got to somehow get this working. Now, of course, there's every positive to a negative pod, and this has been quite negative because it's concerning. There's concerns that are in front of our eyes. We're not going to sit there and be like, yeah, look at how great we're playing when we ain't playing great, right? It's just facts. The positives are we haven't lost. The positives are we're a point off of last season, I think somebody said. And the positives are we got players to come back. I can be cool with that if you want. But trust me, when those players are back and I still see this happening, that's where I'm going to be bringing it up again. Because I'm putting pressure on us this season. There should be pressure from the fan base to say, when are we expected to win this league then? Tell me. Because I don't remember walking out of Highbury in 2002 going, going to win this league, are we? Because Manchester United are too good. Ain't going to win this league next year. Second it is. Second it is again. Man United under Fergie can't compete with them. They've just done a treble in 99. I never walked out in 2000 and said, they just done a treble. Hopefully we'll come second this year. No, I wanted to go and win a double. So why does it change 15 years later? It don't for me. But some of the fan base, I suppose, have grown up in a different era. Top four was great and Wenger was amazing that he got us top four all this time. I don't know. That's the way I see it. Listen, that's we're going to leave it there. Otherwise, it will segue into another huge debate, which is what we're going to be doing regularly on this channel, man. So big up all of you for coming on. Big up everybody in the chat. Make sure you do me a favor and smash the like and subscribe. Thank you so much for allowing us to hit 12K last night. Absolutely fantastic from you guys. So thank you so much. Make sure you come and follow the man. Premsy, how can people get hold of you, bro?
Premsy TV on YouTube, Premsy_AFC, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And you know what? Make sure you go and check out Premier League Unpacked as well with my guy Lee on there as well. Patrick and Bish, top show yesterday. So go and give us a follow on there. Be much appreciated.
Nice one, man. Make sure you go and follow Premsy on Premsy TV. Northside, how can people follow you, bruv?
Northside LDN on YouTube. And going live in about 40 minutes. So yeah, man. Always cooking these flip-flops, you know what I mean? I have to hold these guys accountable, bro. You want to talk crap, you got to be made accountable. And it's mad because people starting to move correct now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Listen, when you hold people accountable, you know what I mean? They start watching what they're saying, innit? But, you know, it is what it is, man. We come easy. I come in peace. But, yeah, love for having me on, bro.
Nah, always welcome, man. Always welcome. Come on. Guna Lee, bro. What you saying? How can people come follow your content, brother?
Guys, it is literally Guna_Lee on YouTube. Now, I haven't actually done a lot of content. Well, I haven't done any content for about 3 months because I've just bought a flat, like been really busy and stuff. But please, guys, can you go and follow me? I am back streaming on Monday. About 1 o'clock. So I would love, do you know what? I've had about, I don't know, an extra 400 or 500 people follow me and I haven't even put any content up for a couple of months. So I appreciate it. But please, if you can go and follow me, it will be really appreciated. I'm on the way to 2,000 and I said, I haven't really put any content out. And my last point, guys, there's some people I saw in the chat as well. Nobody here is toxic. I'm on Premsy's channel weekly. Dan, me and you know each like, and Northside as well. Like I've watched all these guys' contents. Guys, none of them are content outside sort of negative. Everybody's got their own opinion and says it in just in a different way. So if you can follow me, follow the guys as well, man. It will be really, really appreciated because I am back streaming from Monday.
Big up, man, and well said. Absolutely. Listen, we've all got opinions. We all want the same thing, don't we? Arsenal winning titles and Champions Leagues. So how we get there, we all have a different opinion on. So
some are more patient than others, but it's a bad thing.
100%, man. 100%. Listen, make sure you go follow Guna Lee as well now that he's putting content out. Likewise, Premsy. Likewise, Northside. We're going to be out of here. Make sure you check out Bread and Honey Bets in the Patreon in the link in the description. They'll be on things tonight and this weekend, man. So make sure you go get some money from them on Bread and Honey Bets. And we'll see you next time. Take it easy, people. We're out of here.
Safe.